Hey guys, today's video is going to be a follow-up on our handstands, which we did very early on in this video series. It's going to be kind of a part 2, working on some more advanced variations of that. So if you've been keeping up with your handstand work from that video, perfect, great, ready to move on. If you haven't, no big deal. Go back to that video. I'll link it down in the description and you can check it out. Let's do it. So we're going to cover 2 things in this video. The first one is going to be your body position and your posture during the handstand itself. And the second one is going to be kicking up into the handstand in free space without any support structures. Before we get started, I am going to mention that some people have a limitation with their handstand work with their wrist mobility, and maybe you had some previous injuries that make it hard to bend your wrist in certain ways. So these little things right here, these tools called parallettes, can be very helpful for that. Instead of having your hand here like this, it puts it in a neutral position like that. So these parallettes are really cheap, easy to get. I'll put a link down in the description. Otherwise, you can build them easily out of dowels or PVC. If you're handy, it's pretty easy to do. So as we get into posture for the handstand, having that nice straight posture is sometimes limited by your ability to open up those shoulders. So you can use an exercise called Dislocates. The way that works is using a band, you're gonna keep your elbows straight and bring your arms over and behind your head and your body like so. So you're gonna stretch out that shoulder girdle and your chest, everything that acts on those shoulder joints. Bands are best because they have a little bit of give. If you don't have a band, you can use a broomstick or anything like this. So again, try to keep those elbows straight over your head, find that stretch point, and just work through that range of motion, opening up those shoulders. Another really common issue with your posture in your handstand is too big of an arch like this. So we're gonna work on a couple of things to draw all that in and get your body nice and straight. First, we'll work on an exercise called a hollow rock. So that hollow position just refers to the opposite of an arch. So instead of your concave being in your back, you're gonna come this way and it'll be that sort of banana shape here to the front. The hollow rock is an awesome exercise because you have to keep your lower body and your upper body tight and controlled and as one single unit. So starting here like this, you're just gonna rock back and forward slowly and do your best not to change your hip angle at all. So it shouldn't look like this. Everything stays the same. All the way through. You can advance your hollow rock by bringing your arms up over your head. All right, we'll do one more drill to familiarize yourself with those positions so that when you're up into the handstand, you have some idea of where you want to be. This drill is called a cat-cow. You've probably done it before. Basically, you're bringing yourself through the two extremes of this range of motion, from this tucked and arched position or I guess hunched position, as opposed to this arched position here where you're open with your chest. So on your hands and knees, like so, you're going to push away, tuck your ribs down, tilt your hips under, your tailbone tucks under like this. All of that happens from your hips, and then the opposite direction this way. You're arching your back, trying to drop your lower back down as far as you can, and then back here. All right, so that's the cat-cow, and that'll just give you some idea of where you want to be, of how that changes and how you change that, what muscles to engage while you're upside down in your handstand. Okay, now to further reinforce that good posture in your handstand, we're going to use a wall for support. You're going to go with your belly towards the wall, getting your hands kind of as close as you can, and then what you're going to do is, again, feel like you're pulling your ribs down, feel like you're tilting your hips backwards, pulling your tailbone in and under, and then pushing out through your arms, keeping those elbows open. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your head and you're gonna bring it down, your chest, your chin down to your chest. You're gonna try to spot your feet. And that's gonna help with that straightness. Here's what it looks like. So once you've practiced your handstand enough with support from the wall, kicking up against the wall with your feet, the next step is going to be able to do that out here in free space. Now, the most important thing with that is getting comfortable over balancing. It's really easy once you're starting without support to under kick so that you're never gonna get up to that vertical position, that slight overbalance that you need in order to maintain that handstand position. So you need to have some way to overbalance and to bail forward. There are a few different ways. Probably the best way that I would recommend is the cartwheel out. So with this, you go up into that handstand. Then if you feel you're starting to bail forward, you're overbalancing, first of all, you want to fight that with your fingertips. If that's not going to work, if you feel like you're definitely going to be falling towards your heels, what you're going to do is pick up one hand, bring it around, and you're going to finish kind of a cartwheel. It doesn't have to be a really pretty cartwheel. Just you need to get your front or your side towards the ground to land on your feet, as opposed to splatting onto your back. So it looks like this. Now, as you're practicing this cartwheel bail, it can be tempting to have your hands set already before you even kick up to that handstand. You need to fight that temptation because you're practicing the bail, but you want to be able to do this while you're attempting that handstand. So this setup right here, where I have these two intersecting lines, works really well. But you can create that with a piece of tape on the ground or just have some frame of reference for your hands initially, making sure that they're even and on the same line. So I'll put both of my hands on this line to kick up to the handstand. Once I feel like I'm balancing too far forward and I need to bail, I'm gonna pick up just that one hand and bring it around. So while you should definitely learn that cartwheel out, if you do have something soft like a mat or a mattress or whatever, as you're learning this handstand kick up, you can also just flop onto that or do a forward roll out like this. So now, the trick to being able to hold that handstand in space, no support, is practice. Sorry, that's all there is to it. Couple little tips though, as you're doing this. If you find that you've kicked up 5 or 6 times and every single time you come back down towards your toes, the next one, just kick up as hard as you can and make sure you overbalance into that cartwheel, into that roll, whatever it is you're using. You don't want to get into the habit of not kicking up high enough. Alternatively, you can also just kick up against the wall a couple more times so you feel what enough power into that kick actually feels like. Now, I'm not a master of this skill by any means. I'm still working, I'm still improving. It takes a while, it takes a long time, it takes consistency. That's all there is to it. Hope you have a good time with this. Handstands are awesome, they're worth it. They're so fun, and when it clicks, it feels so good. So good luck with it. Hope you're staying healthy. I will catch you tomorrow.